And this is the thing. That's you got to look at it as it's a mirror. Everything is an opposite. Because he's been put in so much power. I'm talking about Satan himself, Lucifer. Because he's been put in so much power to run the world for a short time, he wants to replicate everything that is God because he's jealous of God. He wants to become like Yahweh.
Yeah, but what happens to the followers at the end?
Well, we all know what happens there, right?
You take like that young man that dies on death row, Sean Sellers. I'm sure some of you know who Sean Sellers is. The youngest one to die in death row years back. I knew Sean for quite a few years before he was executed. There's a beautiful young man that was enticed by a babysitter to get into my dad's book, and he fell line, hook, and sinker like most kids do at age 12 and on. And he became a Satanist, and he wound up killing his mother and his stepfather and shooting them in the head while they were asleep in bed. Now, they called him the devil's child in one of the books that was written about him. But for a long time before I even met Sean, I would convey this to kids in groups that had gotten into, that I spoke in a church or a group setting, youth groups, try and get kids not to get into the occult. It's very enticing. There's a lot of stuff out there to entice them into it. Cartoons, all kinds of stuff.
Well, I know the best defense for Satan is to make you believe he doesn't exist. So if you believe he does not exist, then you've definitely been deceived by him.
Well, Sean, he got so wrapped up in it and wanted to be me. He wanted to be Anton's son so bad. And he not only killed his parents, but he killed a store clerk and I think someone else. And he wound up on death row at 15 years old. What a way to go at 15. Did any of you know what death row is like? I've never visited the prison, but I can imagine. I've seen enough. I spoke in prison once to a group of guys, but on death row, they're not allowed to be around the general other prisoners.
Right.
They're separated totally. And they're not able to do what the other prisoners do inside of a prison, like work, a lot of games and playing around out in the yards, and mostly working. They're separated and kept in a small 10 by 10 room, day in and day out until maybe years later they decide to execute them. Now, Sean wasn't executed until he was, I believe, 22 years old. He's been in there since he's 15 years old on death row. And, I happen to know there's a 13-year-old on death row right now. So if you can picture how it would be like for a child, just for the fact that they followed Satan. And Satan has a deadly ending. He doesn't care. It's a lot of kids wound up either dead or in prison because they committed crimes in the name of Satan, because my dad's book said that's okay. And they went beyond what they should have gone. But this is the kind of effect Satanism has on these kids in my dad's book. And this is where they wind up. is an end result for getting into Satanism, whether it be self-styled or Church of Satan or any other.
Right.
It's a
okay,
deadly
so let's go ahead. And we've got about 20 minutes left in the show. Let's go ahead and talk about your experience with the Council of 13.
Oh, boy. Oh, the Council of 13 is 12 men of our U.S. government. And the 13th man is a Russian delegate. And these men have a lot of power. But publicly known, they are not known. They are kept concealed. It means they work behind the scenes in the White House, and you don't know these men belong to the Council of 13. Now, there has been some publicity about Bush's father, and because of that, we can mention that Bush's father has been a member of the Council of 13 for some years now. Because, believe it or not, and you may not agree with me, but I happen to know a fact, because I know the Bushes, that he's a generational Satanist. And his father does sit on the Council of 13. And these men, through the years, if they don't like somebody, they can take you out. In my experience with him, my dad was having such a hard time with me conforming to what he wanted me to do in the church that he took me to them, and they meet in East Berlin once a year and at the Mother Church. And so he took me there. And I just told him that I wasn't going to conform, that I'm going to follow Jesus Christ, and I thought my dad's eyeballs were going to jump out of his head, but they didn't expect that. And one of the guys got really upset at that statement too.
Mm-hmm.
But again, here goes showing God's protection. I walked out on him. I turned my back and walked out and said, I'm not doing this, and you'll never make me do it. I'm following somebody much higher. And I tell you, they were very, very upset, and they could have taken me out right there and made me disappear for good. But these guys are highly dangerous. They took Kennedy out. They thought it was, they hired that guy to do it. The guy took the bunt for it. They can take anybody that doesn't agree with them out. Because I've seen them do it.
Right.
But they're kept concealed from public. And my dad and I are the only ones that have ever seen them physically all together. I think I was about, just turned 12.
So now you talked a lot to me about not a lot, but we briefly talked about the Bohemian Grove, and you said that you've never been to the castle, but you had actually gone to Bohemian Grove, and that Alex Jones was certainly courageous in doing what he did.
Well, yeah, he took a horrible chance with all the FBI that go there every year. That place is highly protected. How he got in there, his films show him going in there, but they had to hide behind bushes, and so the film is up and down, moving all the time, and it's kind of hard to watch. But I've been in that place. My dad has taken me several times up there, and I've seen him sacrifice things. I've seen him do rituals. I have seen the Bushes there, the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
But all the government officials have to belong to that. You've heard Bush on television say that he belongs to the Skull and Bones. That's the Skull and Bones, but they just keep it another name. And he gives the devil sign. there's a picture of him actually in some newspaper giving in the devil sign. Well, a lot of people do that without knowing what it really means, but that's a
yeah, they think they're doing.
Other.
Yeah, they think they're saying it's a symbol for the Texas Longhorns, but I think we know better than that.
No, because I've had the occult do it to me, giving me the high sign.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, this whole thing, and tonight, the reason why I wanted to talk about a lot of that is because you wouldn't believe how many Christians still don't realize the impact of certain holidays, certain evil presences, functions, things that they do that is really unspeakable. We're not going to speak about them here on the radio show, but we just wanted to educate people about these things because, to me, if there's even a slight chance that I'm participating in something evil, I want to know about it. If I don't know about it, I want to know about it. And that way, you have to understand, and this is the best way I can describe it. The world around you, the unseen world around you, the invisible world, there's a war going on. You don't even know it. You can't see it. But things that you do, the energy that you put out by the actions and deeds that you do, righteous acts of God, things like that, things you turn away from, not falling into temptation, walking away from a sin, those kinds of things is like actually taking a power in the invisible world around you, and you're participating in that war by the actions you do. So if you are going to be masking some holiday like Halloween and put another name tag on it and still participate in that energy, you are defeating your purpose as a Christian. Would you agree with that?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. It's kind of blasphemy and disobedience towards the Lord when we do that. In the Bible here, I can't remember where it's at. I have it marked somewhere, but it says we should not be ignorant of Satan's devices.
Right. We are to educate ourselves.
Yes. And when someone tells you the Word of God, word to word, we should not snub it off and say, we're just going to still, like that church, we need to have our parties. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't live on both sides of the fence. I've been there, done that, and the end result became deadly. God straightened me up, made me fly right. And I'm thankful for it because I'm glad I don't live doing those things anymore. Celebrating Halloween.
Well, hopefully this show can teach others, maybe at least consider what's being said here and the power that you actually have by participating or not participating. And that's the biggest thing, is if you don't participate in these things because you made a conscious decision not to, you don't understand the power that's going to be sent out in that in the supernatural.
Oh, we must always keep on top of it, of Satan's devices and what he's doing. Even in our towns. I'll talk about this more in the next time I come on, is a lot of people in their community are not even seeing that Satan, especially Wicca, puts up their pentagram at the beginning of these smaller towns, where the boards you see that say welcome to such and such town, and then underneath it has all these Moose's Club, Rotary Club signs. Well, the pentagram is very colorful, different